Hi everyone, I want to recap my trip to Asia last week with the House Natural Resources Committee. It was a bipartisan congressional delegation, or CODEL. It was a fact-finding mission where members of Congress travel abroad to meet with people firsthand, see things on the ground, and gather information. I want to tell you about my trip, partly so you know why you didn't see me in Utah this week, partly so you know how I'm spending my time, and also because I learned a lot of really interesting things that I think you would all like to hear about. The goal of these trips is that we come back here and make better, more informed policy. So I went to 3 countries. I was in Japan, Taiwan, and South Korea. All of these are vital allies to the US in a region that's threatened by rising aggression from China. Timely issues that we were talking about. In Japan, we met with the US ambassador, the foreign minister of Japan, state ministers of the economy, trade, forestry, fisheries, and more, things that apply to the US's place in the world and to what the Natural Resources Committee does. It was a great opportunity to strengthen economic ties between our 2 countries and to hear from the people in Japan what they're worried about and how US policy is impacting them. While we were in Japan, we also received briefings from the US's 7th Fleet in Yokosuka, the largest of the US Navy's forward deployed fleets. The US and Japan have been allies for over 70 years, since World War II, and we've been supporting each other in our efforts to deter a belligerent China, and I hope that continues. That's one of the reasons we make these trips and talk to people. In Taiwan, we visited with the director of the American Institute in Taiwan, the president and vice president of Taiwan, and several other government officials. We talked about how we can help them fill their energy needs and also develop new technologies that America needs for American energy, instead of all of us relying on foreign enemies for energy that is vital to our economies. I talked about how Utah is in a unique position to help our allies with their energy needs. We talked a lot about the geothermal research that's being done in Beaver County out in the West Desert. Utah is a rich and diverse mixture of natural resources, both traditional and renewable, and we can use those technologies to help our allies also be independent of Russia, China, Iran. Then we went to Korea. We had similar meetings there. We met with the acting president right before they had their presidential elections this week. And we talked to them about the energy needs they have, shared a lot of the same things. We also talked about fisheries and illegal fishing and how they can combat that. One of the things I think Utahns would find really interesting that came up in all of these countries is that when we met with business leaders there, all of them said that the United States has to get our permitting process streamlined and under control, because it's tough for them to invest in the United States when they don't know how long it's going to take to get something online, when they don't have any sort of certainty about timelines or costs. It's something we talk about here all the time. I was shocked to hear it overseas as well. Luckily, it is a bipartisan issue and it's something we're working on. I've introduced several bills, the committee's working on it, but I think hearing that from our allies really gave us some momentum to keep going forward and working on that. They all wanted to talk about tariffs. It gave us a chance to reassure them that the United States is working on getting tariff agreements and getting those tariffs down. They were all really interested in that. There's sort of a mix of reactions to that across all of the meetings we had. And we ate a lot of good food. I got to see a lot of interesting sights I've never seen before, and I got to represent Utah on the world stage and talk to them about the tech startups we have, the energy research we're doing, the things we have to offer, and reinforce the relationships we have with our allies. And I'm still fighting off the jet lag, but I'm glad that I get to come back and share all of that with you. And I'll be back next week with another update.